Current developments, presidential directives, accurate and reliable updates straight from the palace. I'm Daphne Oseña-Paez, your Malacañang Insider. The implementation of strategic policies, programs, and initiatives aims to promote the morale and integrity and upskilling of government employees for efficient public service. These are some of the government's efforts under the Marcos administration. To give us more information on these, we have with us Civil Service Commission Chairman Karlo Nograles. Good day, Chairman Nograles. Thank you for joining us here in Malacañang Insider.
Thanks for having me, Daphne. Very nice press briefing room.
It's a nice setup that we have here, and we're so happy to have you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, inaprubahan ng NEDA ang 3.8 billion peso civil service modernization project under the CSC, and it's targeted to be implemented by 2025 to 2029. Ano ba ang purpose ng nasabing project?
Well, basically, it's really to modernize the HR management systems of the entire bureaucracy. Kasi naman, makikita po natin na different offices in government have their different HR management systems. Some of them are kind of archaic, if you would want to call it that way. Some of them have become more advanced. But we in the civil service, one of the things that we do is we kind of test and assess the maturity level ng mga HRM systems or HR management systems ng different agencies of government. And our maturity levels across the board are not at par with global international standards. And so this project is very, very important. It will be a game changer in terms of modernizing the way we do HR in the government. And not only will we be implementing a totally brand new HRIS system for the entire bureaucracy, but it will also be integrated with the payroll system. So, ang daming pagbabagong mangyayari. We will be able to digitize our HR systems, and maraming mga functions dito will be automated. It will be tied up to the payroll system, so there will be a lot more visibility in terms of vacancies, halimbawa, real-time data on the vacancies, real-time data on what kind of HR movements there will be in each and every agency of government, and real-time data and visibility also in terms of the payroll system. So it's going to be a project between the CSC and the Department of Budget and Management, and we're very, very excited to have this project really implemented by 2025 all the way up to 2029.
That's interesting, and I'm sure a lot of people would benefit. But who would benefit the most in this civil service modernization program?
Well, first and foremost, syempre the government agencies, employees, and officials. In this 5-year program, we will be hitting 1.1 million civil servants who will benefit from this. Ibig sabihin, the HR functions, the HR management functions in different agencies that will cut across about 226 agencies by the end of 2029, equivalent to 1.1 million civil servants. Then after 2029, tatapusin namin yung ibang mga natirang agencies. So that's a 5-year plus 5-year program. After 10 years, the entire bureaucracy will be covered. So, but for up to 2029, it's 1.1 million civil servants. But over and above that, the public will also benefit, no? Directly and indirectly, because number one, again, as I said, it will help us really fill up the vacancies. It will help us look for the right people. It will help us in moving people, promoting people. So, in other words, because our HR systems are more mature and are more updated, then we can put the proper people in government, and ultimately it's the public who will benefit from better public service by putting in more civil servants and filling up so many vacancies in government right now.
What were the directives of President Marcos when you undertook this big program?
Actually, truth be told, before I came on board as the CSC chair, that was immediately his big ask. Karlo, you need to digitize and digitalize our HR systems. And so this is in fulfillment of that promise and his big ask. So he's very happy that this is now moving along as planned. And of course, he's concerned that it has to be implemented within the time frame. So it's 2025 to 2029. So there is no room for delay. So basically, that was his directive: make sure that there's no delay, make sure that we implement it correctly. And after that cabinet meeting, when he gave the go signal, after that NEDA board meeting rather, marami na mga agencies ang gustong sumama. So from an initial plan of having 226 agencies, we're now finding it easier to fill up the slots for these 226 agencies who will be part of the first batch. And when I say first batch, it's this first 5 years, because the next 5 years obviously will be up to the next administration, and I myself, I'm up to 2029, so it will be up to the next chairperson also. But 226 for this 5 years, and then the rest of the agencies to follow after.
So in modernizing the HR, the human resources of the civil service,
Of the
bureaucracy, what were the things that you initially found was inefficient or that needed to be improved? And how will your agency address that?
There are three different functions, major pillars of HR. One is recruitment and placement. So with the system, maging mas madali ang makikita natin visibility. Right now, just to explain to everybody, the visibility ng CSC in terms of vacancies is we only are able to gather the data every 6 months. So it's not real time. We don't see the real time accuracy of the vacancies. We see the vacancies every 6 months. And then, of course, it's hard for us to nudge agencies to fill up their vacancies if it's not real time. If it's real time, then it's easier for the CSC to nudge. Also, in the same manner, agencies themselves, if they have real-time data about the number of vacancies that they have, then it theoretically will be easier for them to see that there's a problem and for them to fill up these vacancies. So that's one, recruitment and placement. Next one is learning and development. Obviously, in this era of digitalization, digital transformation, we really need to pick up learning and development. So through this system, we will be able to see the gaps in learning and development, what sort of improvements in terms of skill sets that we need, because we'll be able to profile each and every government worker and official on what sort of learning and development interventions we can give. And since the CSC already has an LMS or learning management system, we can already input into the LMS depending on the learning and development gaps of the different agencies. We can tailor fit it already and tie it up to the HRIS system. In other words, for each and every agency, we will be able to assess what sort of learning and development interventions we can provide for them depending on their learning and development gaps, how we can improve them, and we can tie it up with our LMS system. And then, of course, third is performance management. So performance management is really looking at the indicators in terms of their individual performance, in terms of organizational performance, in terms of agency performance, and tie it up very well with our Philippine Development Plan. All of these can be done if we digitalize, because as we all know, once we're able to digitalize data analytics, the data will be very important. We already have gone leaps and bounds in terms of artificial intelligence and using artificial intelligence to interpret the data. And so, there's a lot. You can imagine where we can bring HR management once we digitalize everything. So, masasabayan na natin because other countries are doing that. If we benchmark with Singapore, they're doing that already. If we benchmark with Australia, they're doing that already. Ayaw rin natin mapag-iwanan. Okay.
So in keeping with this modernizing and improving the hiring process, you mentioned education and the skills. It was also mentioned by Education Secretary Sunny Angara that there was a discussion about the qualifications in the Civil Service Commission and matching it with the senior high school graduate diploma. Would they be able to be candidates for CSC straight from senior high?
Yes, so this is the discussion that they have in the EDCOM, the Congressional Commission on Education. And this is something that Secretary Sunny Angara took up with me immediately actually after he assumed office. And I said that Yes, there's already, in fact, a discussion and some recommendations and suggestions in the EDCOM that we have to adjust the qualification standards in certain, what do you call this, in certain vacancies or in certain, in government. So right now, the discussion is, ang educational requirements kasi is college graduate. Ang sinasabi ni Sec Sani at ng ibang mga nasa EDCOM is, meron naman K-12, meron naman senior high school. Hindi ba pwede na ang educational standards or qualification standards on education can some positions be lowered to senior high school graduate dahil K-12 na nga. And I said, yes, that's possible. But it must come from upon the recommendations of CHED and TESTA. So that's where we're at right now. And we're waiting for CHED and TESTA to come up with that resolution or that agreement, endorsing to us in the CSC their approval to that recommendation. Some positions in government has to be able to, we can adjust them na imbis na college graduate, pwede ng senior high school graduate. And maybe even perhaps senior high school graduate with tech-voc abilities also. So hopefully, CHED and TESTA will endorse that immediately with the help also of Secretary Sani, so that we in the CSC can make certain adjustments in the qualification standards for certain positions in government.
President Marcos also directed that some qualified workers should be assisted to in the application process, especially in plantilla positions. What kind of assistance na ang pwede ang mabigay sa mga qualified employees?
Actually, we did that already. No? First of all, number one, apart from this HRIS system that will have visibility, it's easier for us to be able to fill up those vacancies already, or at least nudge agencies to fill up those vacancies. But number two, in the civil service, there's a game changer really. When I started as chair, before kasi when you applied for government positions or vacancies in government, you had to go to the CSC to ask for a certificate of eligibility. And since digitalization na nga tayo dito, we launched a CSEBS program. The CSEBS program actually allows the candidate himself or herself and the HR officer to check online whether or not that candidate is in fact civil service eligible. So instead of going to the CSC, lining up in the CSC, waiting for your turn in the CSC, and asking for a printed certificate of eligibility, pwede nang tingnan sa CSEBS. So online, makikita na this person is eligible. No need for that certificate. Next, of course, is we also, right now, we also do, like, we're celebrating the Philippine Civil Service anniversary, and we just recently concluded our job fair, government job fair. So we had a lot of vacancies, more than 6,000 vacancies that we published, that through the different regional offices, we were able to conduct our government job fair. Number three is this, just recently, we also launched the Civil Service Eligibility Preference Rating. What does this mean? This means that beginning on the March civil service exam and onwards, those who take the exam but can prove that they have been working in government as either a job order, contract of service, a casual, contractual, coterminous, category 3, category 4, or with first level civil service eligibility, and can prove that they have worked in government for 10 years or more, when they take the civil service exam, they are automatically granted a maximum number of plus 10 points, bonus points in the exams. So instead of hitting, kasi 80 kasi yung passing rate namin sa civil service exams. So instead of, if you don't hit 80, if you get 70 or 71 or 72 up to 79, and you can prove that you have worked in government for more than 10 years as job order, casual contractual, etc., then we can give you the plus points for you to hit 80. Malaking bagay ito kasi marami sa ating mga job orders, casual contractual, ang paulit-ulit nagtitake ng civil service exam. At lagi nilang sinasabi, dahil sa hirap ng exam, kahit ilang take na sila, panay hindi sila makapasa. Laging hindi sila makareach ng 80. So we did this in order for us to increase the possibility na those who have worked in government, also affirming that since they have this vast experience already in government, we give them those plus points. And malaking bagay din ito sa mga ahensya because marami din sa kanila nasasayangan pag hindi nila mabigyan ng plantilla position, itong mga matagal na nagsaserbisyo, tapos memorize na nila ang trabaho, memorize na nila ang gobyerno. Kanya lamang hanggang job order lang, or contractual lang, or casual lang, dahil nga hindi pwedeng ipasok sa plantilla item because wala silang civil service eligibility. Hindi ka naman pwede mag-civil service eligibility until you pass the exam. Paulit-ulit na nga ang pag-take ng exam. So, this is also another game changer that we did. And in fact, the President, when we reported to him about this, was very, very happy about this initiative.
Malaking tulong yan for the employees and for the agencies as well, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
We'll continue our discussion in a little while. Up next, a discussion on the CSC Modernization Project at iba pang mga hakbang na ginagawa ng CSC para mas mapabilis ang pagpapaabot ng serbisyo sa publiko. We'll be right back.
At your service, Pilipinas, mula sa Department of Justice, ako po si Yusek Margarita Gutierrez. Samahan niyo kami para sa isang bagong Pilipinas ngayon, dito lang sa PTV.
Mahigit 1 milyong lingkod bayani, itinataguyod ang pamilya at bansa. Nagmamalasakit sa kapwa at kalikasan. Buong sigasig na humaharap sa mga hamon ng kinabukasan. Mabuhay ang ating mga kawani sa serbisyo publiko. Isang mensahe mula sa PTV ngayong buwan ng Serbisyo Sibil.
You're still watching Malacañang Insider with Civil Service Commission Chairperson Karlo Nograles. Chairman Nograles, in the recent budget hearing on CSC, it was mentioned that over 200,000 vacant positions in different agencies are still unfilled.
Yes.
Yeah, what led to that?
203,000.
Oh, wow.
Various factors, as I explained in Congress, the civil service can only do so much. We can only nudge agencies about filling up their vacancies, which is why importante na their HRM or human resource management is mature. Because part of the assessment that we do in terms of the HR offices of the different agencies, in terms of assessing their maturity levels, is how fast they can fill up their vacancies. So the slower they fill up the vacancies, the less mature they are, or the less points they get, basically. Various factors in terms of filling up the vacancies. One factor is that there's really no, siguro sabihin na natin na it's really a matter of agencies publishing these vacancies, really looking to fill up these vacancies, really actively pursuing the filling up of these vacancies. Sometimes you would hear excuses like, yeah, we publish it, but there are no takers. So that can also be a factor. Sometimes there are no takers, which is why some agencies, because there are no takers, they come back to us and ask for adjustments in the qualification standards. But more and more, I think it's really the visibility. So as a head of agency must be, must be active enough to really pursue the filling up of vacancies, and then really have a really no-nonsense human resource recruitment, selection, and placement plan. But in order for you to get to that level, your HR system really has to be mature. Your HR officers really have to be very persistent and consistent. So yun, marami talagang kailangan talagang pagtuunan ng pansin when it comes to that. Kami naman, what we try to do, apart from what I reported to you, giving plus points, doing government job fairs, removing yung requirement for certificate of eligibility. We're also looking for ways and means to make recruitment, selection, and placement faster. But yes, it's really a challenge, and I think with the HRIS system through our civil service modernization project, we can do a lot of things with the information that we will be gathering. The information will be real time, and we promise in the CSC to be more active in nudging and identifying the gaps also in terms of their recruitment, selection, and placement plans. So that's really something that we're really looking forward to when we implement this program.
I'll just ask you, because you've been in government, formerly in the executive also.
Yes.
Are young people, new grads, attracted to working in government?
Oh, yes. A lot of young graduates are attracted.
Yeah.
There is a lot of demand. When we do the civil service exams, you will see that there is so much demand for it that, in fact, when I came on board as chair of the civil service, we increased our exam slots. From previously, pre-pandemic, the highest that they've gone is, sabihin natin, mga 300,000+ exam slots per year. Right now, I challenge the CSC to double it, and we've been able to. We are almost at 750,000 slots per year that we're offering. And even with that big, huge number of slots, kulang pa. So we're doing, we have we have 2 exams, March and August. That's the pen and paper exams. Over and above that, we also do our computerized exams, which we call the COMEX. But right now, yung COMEX namin, we are currently in the process of procuring a new system because COMEX has its limitations. The COMEX, we can only give it like 3 times a week, and it's sometimes, it's an old system, so it really needs replacement. So we're now in the process of procuring a new system, which we will call the CSC DEX, or digital exams. And that will guarantee more slots for those who want to take the civil service exams, computerized and based internet connected. So we hope to be able to provide the CSC DEX to all regional and field offices namin nationwide that has strong internet, because it's internet-based, and then conduct it Mondays to Fridays to increase the number of slots we offer every year, because from a target of 700 to 750,000, if we add that, ang assumption namin is we'll be able to add another 100,000. So we might hit 800 to 850,000 civil service exam slots per year with that combination. And hopefully that will really increase the number of eligibles. By increasing the number of eligibles, we can have better chances of filling up these vacancies in government.
Like in a nutshell, what do you think a career in government gives people?
Oh, it gives them security of tenure. I think the increase in the interest, basically, of getting into government and landing a plantilla item was highlighted during the pandemic. Because napansin ng tao, during the pandemic, private offices shut down, and many employees were not given pay because the private offices shut down. Private offices all over the country, all over the world, in fact, were forced to shut down. But government continued to operate, and sweldo ng mga officials and employees of government continued to be given. So right now we're seeing more interest, higher interest, in fact, from the younger generation to enter into government. Ang anecdote ko dyan, before, nung una, ang ginagawa ng mga mag-asawa ay yung isang asawa ay nasa private sector, yung kanyang asawa ay nasa government sector para balanse. Pero right now, mukhang ang direction na nga, dahil nakita nilang advantages of working in government, ang mag-asawa, mas gusto ng parehong nasa gobyerno. And then, sa mga kabataan din, I'm also seeing a lot of, not just because of security of tenure, but I think also the interest in serving the people, really public service, the call to public service, the call to at least devote a portion of your lifetime here on earth, serving the public, serving the people. So there's really that keen interest, and I'm very happy to see whenever I go to visit mga civil service exams, so we do oculars, di ba? So, nagsi-civil service exam, and I go to the classrooms, I visit the classrooms, I visit the exam testing centers, and then I look at the papers ng proctors. One of the things that I really look for when I look at the picture seat plan is the date of birth. To see talaga kung ano yung profile ng mga examinees, no? And I think based on my experience, in a classroom full of civil service examinees, kalahati nun bata, kalahati nun fresh graduate, kalahati nun 20 plus years old. Actually, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25. Sabihin natin between 18 to 25 ang kalahati ng classroom. The others are the older ones, obviously. So, doon mo makikita, anecdotally, at least for me, you'll see that there are a lot from the new generation that's really, really, really keen on being a civil servant.
That's very hopeful, and it's good that they could see that there's so much effort to modernize, professionalize, and make it competitive also.
And I think it's the right time to come in also. Daming changes.
Right.
We're going digital.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that, that of course, once we go digital, it's not only right for us to go digital because mga kabataan are coming in, but we in the civil service are also, focused also on upskilling those who are already in government. To embrace the digital transformation that's happening in the bureaucracy.
Okay. Well, this coming September 19, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will be giving parangal para sa outstanding government workers.
Yep.
Could you tell us about this and how do they classify the different awardees and how are they chosen?
Yes. Actually, it's been moved to September 18.
Okay,
so it's now September 18. That's the latest word from Malacañang. It's just been recently moved to September 18. And yes, we will be, the President will be awarding the Presidential Lingkod Bayan Awards. That's the highest award any civil servant can hope to get. And it will be the President himself who will be giving out this award. So we in the CSC, we screen the candidates up to the national level, and we give it, so the short list, the pinaka short list, after our screening process, we give to the President for his selection. So he gets the final selection. And those that will win, or those who will receive the Presidential Lingkod Bayan Award, are those who are exceptional in their work. So much so that their exceptional work or initiative cuts across different departments on a national scale. Ganun ka bigat yun. Next is a CSC Pag-asa Award. So the CSC Pag-asa Award naman is given to civil servants who has done an outstanding performance or initiative that cuts across several offices within his or her department, or even can affect another department as well, or another agency as well. And then the third award, set of awards, is Dangal ng Bayan Award. Ang Dangal ng Bayan Award naman is given to civil servants who exemplify the ethical standards of a true civil servant. So there are ethical norms. This is based on law, and then those who exemplify they exemplify these ethical norms and standards because of the work that they do, and because they're able to prove that, that's what they get. They are given the Dangal ng Bayan Award. So these are three sets of awards that the President will be giving in Malacañang on September 18 as part of the Philippine Civil Service Anniversary.
Wow, we look forward to that. But why is an award like that important? Bakit mahalaga yan para sa mga government employees natin?
Well, it's quite important. Number one, I think, first of all, it's really a recognition. Recognition of the outstanding, outstanding, exceptional work that these sets of civil servants have done. It's recognizing what they've done and what they continue to do, and recognizing that the work that they do is truly appreciated, not only by the president, but by the people around them. Because you don't get that award just because. You have to pass through a nomination process. So, ibig sabihin, may nag-nominate sa'yo, ibig sabihin, dumaan sa civil service at tinignan namin kung talagang totoo yung nomination at nakalagay sa nominations. And our vetting process is we ask the people around if totoo ba ito at talagang nakatulong ba ito. So meaning to say, it's really a recognition, a testimony to the hard work that you do and how it has affected really positively the people around you and the nation as a whole. So that's one, recognition really. Number two, it really sets an example. It's an example to all civil servants that you can reach this level and that they are truly an inspiration to all of us. That some there are people that exemplify, what it means to be really an outstanding civil servant. At sana lahat, everybody really moves and is inspired by this and try to at least, equal, if not equal, at least try as much as possible to follow in their footsteps, And it's really a recognition also of the agencies and the work that the agencies do. So this is the reason why we give these awards. It's really to tell the public that there are good people in government, that there are people who really work hard in government, and that hopefully it inspires everyone, not just to join government, but for those who are already in government to do their utmost, whether silently, even, or just to know that your efforts matter to us, matter to the people, and matter to the president.
Chairman Nograles, this is the 124th anniversary of the Civil Service Commission, and also it's Civil Service Month.
Yes.
What is your message to government employees and to those who wish to join government? Anong masasabi niyo sa kanila?
Well, first of all, happy 124th anniversary. happy 124th birthday to all civil servants. It's not the anniversary of the Civil Service Commission. It is the anniversary of all civil servants. So established in 1900, so now we're 124 years old, civil service, and all civil servants. So it's our anniversary. My message really is, first of all, thank you. Thank you for choosing to serve government and choosing to serve the people. Because alam naman po natin, hindi madali maging civil servant. Ang daming challenges. But the fact that you took on that role, the fact that you took on the challenge to serve the people, to serve government, is something already in itself. Number two, habang nandito naman po tayong lahat as civil servants, bigyan na natin ang lahat. Let's give it our all. Let's give it our best. Because really, the Filipino people deserve no less than our utmost efforts to make life better for each and every Filipino. We are put in a position where we can make a difference, no matter how small. I'm not saying it has to be earth-shattering. Hindi naman kailangan ganun kalaki. But to do your job well and to do it exceptionally, really, it matters. Those small things, those little things matter. Believe me, at the end of the day, at the end of your career, you will look back at what you've done, at what you've accomplished, and you will be proud. And siguro third, as a final message, just stick to our core values, patriotism, integrity, excellence, and spirituality. And you will not go wrong. And we'll keep doing this. Next year, 125, 126, hanggang sa dulo ng career ninyo, just keep doing and following those public service values that we have imbibed, that we continue to imbibe in all civil servants. And we'll be fine. And the country will be fine.
I love those values: patriotism, excellence, spirituality, and
integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us updates on the Civil Service Commission. The civil servants, of course, are the backbone of our government.
Absolutely.
And we really appreciate all the things that you've done and continue to do.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us here, Chairman Nograles. Epektibong serbisyo at pantay na oportunidad para sa pampublikong sektor. Mabilis at maayos na paglilingkod na nararapat matanggap ng bawat Pilipino. Ito ang hangarin ng pamahalaan upang tiyakin na ang ating bansa ay mas magiging progresibo sa ilalim ng bagong Pilipinas. We bring you in-depth views of the latest issues and regular palace updates. This is Daphne Oseña-Paez, your Malacañang Insider. Have a good day.